Today's topic is pituitary gland. Morphology and structure of the pituitary gland. Morphology. The pituitary gland is located at the floor of the skull just behind the optic chiasma, where the optic nerves cross as they enter the underside of the brain. It lies in the sella turcica, a depression in the sphenoid bone on the floor of the cranial cavity. It is a small, rounded, unpaired body about the size of the large pea, weighing approximately 0.5 gram in man and usually became much larger in the pregnant woman. The pituitary gland is ectodermal in origin. It developed from the upgrowth of the roof of the embryonic pharynx. The outgrowth is the rhetic pouch, meet a downgrowth from the part of the brain which will become the hypothalamus. The portion of the gland that has grown up from the anterior wall of the rhetic pouch from the pars distalis. From the loop arise the pars tuberalis. From the posterior wall of the pouch arise pars intermedia. All the three parts are collectively called as adenohypophyses. These usually make up about 75% of the mass of the pituitary. The portion of originated as the downgrowth from the future hypothalamus from the posterior lobe and stem of the gland. This portion of the pituitary is often called the neurohypophysis. The pituitary gland or hypophysis is commonly called the master gland because it exerts a regulatory controls over the most of the other endocrine gland. It is now pituitary or hypophysis, and the hypothalamus form a sort of complex called as hypothalamus hypophyseal complex to control the activity of other endocrine glands. These are the morphology of the pituitary gland and structure of the pituitary gland. Structurally, the pituitary gland has two parts: adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Firstly, we also explain on adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis is a large, compact, and highly vascular structure. It is the large part of the gland in all vertebrate except the cyclostomes and teleostomes. It is also sometimes referred to a pars bacchalis. Further, the adenohypophysis or anterior lobe is made of three parts: pars distalis and pars tuberalis and pars intermedia. These are the part of the adenohypophysis. The pars distalis, it is the large part of the adenohypophysis or anterior lobe and form about 75% of the gland. The cell are arranged in cord between which are large capillaries. The pars tuberalis is smaller than the pars distalis. Their call are arranged a short ends or globular cluster. They are polyhedral with centrally placed nuclei, and the cytoplasm contain fine granules. Nests of these squamous cells are often found around the pars tuberalis, pars rarely found in man. It is also not found in lizard and snakes. The pars intermedia, this is the adenohypophysis, is found in whale, sea, cows and birds. It is poorly developed in human beings. The anterior pituitary gland is richly vascular showing numerous blood sinuses between the cords of the cells. The cell fall into two main groups: chromophobes or reserve cell, which possesses no granules, stain lightly and do not secrete. And second is the chromophile cells, which contain large number of granules which stain readily. On the basis of the character of the granules, the chromophile cells are grouped again into two varieties, that is the adenophile, that is alpha cell stains and with acid dyes, and B is the basophils, is the beta, which stain with the basic dyes. The anterior pituitary gland or the adenohypophysis is the master gland of the endocrine system. There are the 6 hormones secreted by this gland. Number 1, gonadotropic hormones. The follicular stimulating hormones, that is FSH, means ovary and testis. Second is the lutein hormones, that is the LH, ovary and testis. And third, leukotropic hormones, that is LTH, or prolactin or lactogenic hormones. There are the 3 main categories of the hormones in the adenohypophysis, that is the first is the adenotropic hormones, second is the thyrotropic hormones, and third is the adenocorticotropic hormones. So in the gonadotropic hormones also 3 type of the hormone, that is the FSH, LH and LTH, and second is the thyrotropic hormones, that is TSH, and third group is the adenocorticotropic hormone, that is the ACTH, that is growth hormones. So firstly, we also detail study of the hormone in the gonadotropic hormones, that is the FSH, LH and LTH. The gonadotropic hormones, the pituitary secretion 3 gonadotropic hormones. The first is concerned with repairing of the ovarian follicles or spermatogenesis. The second with the ovulations, luteations and maintenance of the intestinal tissue of the gonad, and third is the luteotropic hormones, FSH and LH. FSH is a glycoprotein rich in carbohydrates. It is a normal activity, is destroyed by the ptyalin. PH is also glycoproteins, but it's biologically active, is not destroyed by the ptyalin. The physiological properties of FSH and LH exerted are the best investigations in hypophytosecretion animals using the biological pure preparations. The gonads of the hypophytosectomized animals show the pronounced loss of the size and weight. Premortal follicles are still present in the ovaries but not developed in the state, and antera formation. No ovulation occurs and no corpus luteum are formed. On the administration of FSH preparation, so such of the hypophytosectomized animals, follicles enlarged and ripe, and the marked increase occur in ovaries weight. Such the administration does not result in the ovulation or the corpus luteum formations, nor the repair of the intestinal tissue or the hormone secretions by the ovary. The reproduction tracts therefore remain atrophic. Administration of the purification of LH to the hypophytosectomized rat repair the intestinal tissue of the ovaries follicles. Growth does not occur, and no sign of estrogen secretion is appear in the uterus and the vagina. If the FSH and LH are administration together and follicular repairing, ovulation and corpus luteum function occur, it also results in the estrogen secretion and the development of the genital tract. In the hypophysic racemized male rat purified, the FSH result in development of the testicular tubules and the spermatogenesis, but it has no effect on the intestine or the Leydig cells. On the other hand, purified LH result in the development of the intestinal cells and the secretion of the androgen, and androgenic activity is turn result in the development of the seminiferous tubules and spermatogenesis, and also develop of the accessory organs such as the seminal vesicles and the ventral prostate. Lactotropic hormones is LTH. Prolactin is the protein. It is the physiological activities are exerted upon the mammary gland. The pigeon crop sac is the pigeon crop sac included lactation and caused the enlargement of the mammary gland. The thyrotropic hormones, that is the TSH, is a protein. It is activated by the prolactin enzymes, and the TSH exerted the powerful controlling influencing over the activity of the thyroid gland. They promote the accumulation of the iodine and increase the quantity of the intracellular colloids in the thyroid epithelial cells and induce the liberation of hormone thyroxine. The thyroid change result from the removal of the pituitary may be summarized as follows: reduction in size, weight and the vascularization. B. Reduction of the weight of the epithelial cell of the acini. C. Reduction in all the chemical processes of iodine metabolism in the gland. These changes are the reversible by the administration of the exogenesis of TSH exerted. The adenotrophic hormone, that is ACTH. It is also known as corticotropins. ACTH origin consists of the chain of 39 amino acids. It is the totally resistant to the pepsin but destroyed by the trypsin, and physiological activities of ACTH may be divided into those indirect function which are dependent on the stimulation of the large glands, and those direct activity which possible occur in the absence of the adrenal cortex. Administration of ACTH induces a reduction, the increased size of the adrenal gland. B. Duplication of the ascorbic acid content of the adrenal. C. A fall of the concentration of the adrenal cholesterol. And D. An increase the release of adrenal steroids. ACTH secret stimulation glycocorticoid secretion from the adrenal cortex to meet the successful stimulation. And last is the growth hormone, that is the somatotropic hormone, that is STH. The hormones is the protein. GH is a specific. The source of GH appear to the acidophil cells to the anterior pituitary. STH does not function a target gland but act directly on the almost of the tissue of the body. When the pituitary is overactive during the growth period, there is a general acceleration of the process resulting in the variety of tall person, the oversecretion of the GH production, a condition known as acromegaly. Okay.